nerds!
Hi, nerds!
So it was her last time. It's me this time.
Anyway.
For the one who goes too fast.
Let's get down to business to defeat the Huns. Anyway, so this week we're doing a video about Hall H, which is the panel of all panels, and this will be our tips and tricks on how to do it.
It's a panel room of all panels, but yeah. This is our second part of
the Countdown to Comic-Con
San Diego
series.
Comic-Con series. Yes, Countdown to Comic-Con. And I mean, Hall H is a pretty important topic. It's one of the, I guess it's the main reason why everybody wants to go to con, or at least majority of people.
It's definitely a big deal to us.
So, yes. So, what do you have to do to get there? That is a good question. So San Diego has multiple panel rooms, different sizes, and different things happen in them. Pretty much everything happens there. Hall H is the biggest room of them all. It takes, it takes about 6,500 people to fill it up. 6,000 to 6,500, something about that number. Which sounds like an
Which really isn't
number,
a lot when you when you see how many people are trying to get in and how many that don't. It doesn't look like that much is a lot.
Yeah, exactly. So when you have 130,000 attendees, 6,500 it's not that big of a number compared to that. Which means logically there is bigger demand than there is a space, as per usual when it comes to San Diego. So, how do you get in? Well, it depends on the date that you want to go. So, Hall H usually runs Thursday to Sunday. Thursdays and Sundays are often days where you can even walk in very often, depends what's in. Last year there was Kingsman on Thursday, so there was a line. Sunday usually belongs to Supernatural.
Which you would expect Supernatural to have a huge line, but for our first year we were able to just walk into Supernatural with no issue. But we did sit in the back.
You usually are, yeah, we did sit in the back. Like, if it's walk-in, you usually sit in the back, and by in the back I mean you won't be able to actually see the stage. I mean, you'll see it in a really, really far distance. You won't be really able to physically see the actors. They'll just be dots somewhere up front. So you'll have to stare at the screens anyway. But at least you're there, you're live, whatever, if that's what you want to do. Which is another thing that's important. When you want to go to the Hall H, you have to decide, do I want to be up front?
Do you not care where you sit?
Do I just want to be in? Yeah. Which brings us to Friday and Saturday, which are the most busy days. Friday belongs to The Walking Dead and the Game of Thrones, at least in the past couple of years that's been the case. Saturday then is the biggest day
mostly belongs to the movies. There's only usually one television panel snuck in there. It mostly belongs to movie studios like Warner Brothers, Disney, Marvel, etc. So you'll see things like Harry Potter themed films, DC Comics films, Marvel films, all that good stuff.
Yeah, so like in the past 2 years that we've been there, we've seen obviously Warner Brothers programming, which is Fantastic Beasts. Then there were all the DC movies we've seen. Then there was 2 years ago there was a Star Trek panel
for the 50th anniversary.
Last year there was a Westworld panel and Stranger Things, which were TV shows. But obviously popular, so they did deserve the Hall H treatment. And by the way, Stranger Things panel was absolutely fantastic. There's always a Woman Who Kick Ass panel, which is very interesting. They usually
4
choose
actresses at least.
The most.
But
yeah, last year there was just one. Last year there was Charlize Theron with her Atomic Blonde movie. But usually they choose 4 or 5 actresses that are like really cool at the moment, and they have a Woman Who Kick Ass panel, which is very often very interesting.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of fun to see all these amazing women literally kicking ass.
Yes, and then there is obviously Marvel. Marvel, Warner Brothers, they usually take up like 2.5 hours of scheduling, programming, just stuff. But they're not typical panels, so it's not like you sit for, yeah, like it's not like you watch actors for an hour talking, taking questions. They bring their biggest films, and those films switch half an hour after half an hour, and the biggest deal there is to program, to show what they have in their works. So they bring the newest teasers, newest trailers, all
It's
this
the
kind of
day
stuff.
they drop all the good
And
stuff.
it's not the typical panel that you
No,
know.
they always make it a bigger
But,
show than you would expect.
It's the most desirable day to say. Everybody wants to be in Hall H for Saturday. Well, majority of people does. Which means it's never a walk-in. At least
It's
not
a
during
commitment.
the day. Yeah, it's a commitment, and we've been watching videos before. They would say, oh, you have to wait 10 plus hours or 8 hours before and hope to get in and stuff like that. And the truth is, you have to dedicate much more than just an hour.
And other vloggers have said stuff like that. It's not worth it.
For Saturday Hall H, that's been the case in the past 2 years, sorry, that we've been going. 10 hours was by far not enough. So this is kind of our experience, what we did, what we didn't do, how it works. You have to line up. There are rules for that. When you do line up the night before the panels and everything, they hand out wristbands to, I don't know, I don't think it's all 6,000 people.
They hand out whatever,
5,000.
hand out the amount of wristbands that they do have. It's basically while supplies last. And if you're in the line but you didn't get a wristband, you're not getting in.
Well, you're most likely not getting it. You can still do standby line, but the people with wristbands should have guaranteed seat. Why we're saying should have, this is what we get to later on. But the wristbands are A, B, C, D, which are groups based on how far back you are. A group obviously are the first 1,000 people or so. In both cases we've always been in the A group. So that obviously takes the biggest dedication and the most time.
First year we ended up in A group by sheer dumb luck. And second year we ended up in A group because we worked for it. We worked for it both years, but we were at the back of A group, which, to give you some perspective, meant that in the convention, in the actual auditorium, we were about we're at the halfway point. In an auditorium that big, you would think it's not much of an impact on what you're seeing, but it really is, because then you end up having to look at the screens more than the people. Last year, Nana managed to figure out a good schedule for us to work with our friends, and we managed to get there and be in the first, I think we were the second or third group that got in the door that day, but we were right behind the press.
Yeah,
we were pretty close.
Well, the thing is, so what you gotta do is research. So you need a group of people who will switch around, because you can't do the line on your own. I mean, it takes sacrifice, it takes a lot of hours. You want to be able to go to the bathroom for lunch, just to have a break. You want to go to the convention floor as well. You don't want to just sacrifice one day of a con, you know?
And by switch around, we mean schedule. Nana made this huge spreadsheet that I'll definitely be including in this video to show you what she did. And people were able to go in and on a Google Docs and say, okay, well, I have a panel at this time, and so I don't want to watch the spot, our camping spot, and then someone else would come and watch the spot. So everyone had shifts, and it worked out well enough that I feel like nobody missed anything.
Yeah, well, I mean, you still have to compromise. I mean, we missed a couple of panels that we wanted.
It wasn't a huge loss.
It's how it works. You have to, you can't expect people to sit through it while you just have your fun. That's not how it works. But then next thing you need things to sleep. So we need like an air mattress, something to sleep on, a blanket, because you would be surprised, but it does get cold.
We discovered the magic of using onesies.
You do need a canopy as well, because the sun is absolutely dreadful during the day. You need a game or a book or something just to spend time. Cards Against Humanity work well. We know that. And yeah, you need a plan. So if you want to be up front in Hall H for Saturday, You need to be by the line at the time where they stake the flag, as I say, which flag that marks the next day line. So
And that was around
which is
7 o'clock that
Thursday.
night, the night before.
Thursday? No. It was
Oh.
like 8, 9. Depends when the Blinky Blinks hand out wristbands for the next day. So Blinky Blinks are people from security. They have these blinky lights on them, and they hand out those wristbands.
Yeah, they've got vests with
Blinks.
lights
That's
on
what
them,
you
so
see.
you can't miss them.
Yeah, okay. Again, Twitter, your friend, because they always update where the Blinky Blinks are, so called. So if you want to be up front, you want to just be there, hoover around, because you can't stand still, and you want to wait until they hand out all the wristbands for the previous day, meaning for Friday. Then the line will be moved under the chutes.
And the chutes are the canopies that lead up to the actual convention center.
Yes, exactly. Those you could see on the pictures and stuff. I hope we can include them in a video. If not, well, yeah,
yep,
I think
definitely.
we can. Yeah, right? We do have picture. So they will be on a video sometime around now. And then the security comes and takes the flag behind which the line was taken, and they move it a little across the road where the next line will start. That's where your time comes, because you need to go into that line immediately. That's when you stake it. That's when your place is. After the previous line moves away, your line is going to move back to the spot of the line that was there before, and that's where your shift begins. For us, it's been Thursday, 8 o'clock in the evening approximately. We went to the Hall H on Saturday at 10 a.m. So just count it down how long it's been. That took us to get all the way up front. Mind you, people who came morning on Friday, around 7 a.m. on Friday, still got in, but it was by very little. So people who came later than 10 a.m. by Friday,
they were more than likely Group D,
did not have a chance, if at all. So you need at least 24 hours before, if you don't care about where you are. So 8 hours, 10 hours, not enough. That said, last year there was a trouble. The trouble was somebody faked the wristbands and multiple people did not get in, which was a huge trouble because you're supposed to have a guaranteed spot.
But San Diego Comic-Con really came through for those people, and though it did ruin the experience, they stepped up and they gave them free badges for next year. So at least if you know that if something does steer you wrong, definitely go to the employees. They will help you. They'll do anything to make sure your convention experience isn't completely ruined.
Yes. But in the same time, we are kind of waiting, expecting there might be changes. There might be more strict about how it works. So far it was you can stand in a line and hold a place for up to 5 people, but we saw with our own eyes that there are people who cheat the system. I mean, we were 4th in a line when it went down, and we ended up like 200th in the back. How did these people get in front? We still don't know. We were very upset, but we still got in.
We are hoping there will be a little bit of a change as far as that goes, but as far as our tips and tricks in this video, that will be covering what we know. If there's any changes this year, we'll update you on the blog.
What we do know is that this is how the system worked so far, and if you want to get in, it does take dedication. You need your camping gear, you need something to spend time with, and you need to decide if it's worth it for you. I know people who say, oh, it's not worth it.
And don't be discouraged by the other convention goers, because there's a lot of people who, if you tell them you're going to Hall H, they'll be like, that is not worth it. That is like, they'll tell you that you're being an idiot, that you're wasting your time. And, you know, maybe you are, but you need to decide for yourself. For us, we love it. We spend the whole year planning for our Hall H camp out and for being with the friends we've made there.
Yeah, we have matching t-shirts. We made friends. For us, it's part of the experience.
Exactly. And also,
what I would say for myself is do it at least once. it's part of the con. Experience it. If you're lucky enough to go, do it at
It's
least
magical.
once. Because it's something that people do. You might not like it, you might love it like we do. And either way, it's okay. But do it at least once. Do it just so you can say, oh, I did it. Also, there are cool things happening at night before the panels. I mean, we met Andy Serkis.
Yeah, Sandy, sometimes the actors will come out, actors or directors or whatnot, will come out and they'll talk to the fans that are sleeping overnight for the net panels for Hall H on Saturday. And we met Andy Serkis last year. He flew across country at the middle of the night for this panel, and then he came directly from the airport to come say hello to the Hall H line. And he was the most amazing and sweet human being ever. And in years prior, we heard about Zack Schneider bringing the Batmobile down to Hall H, doing crazy stuff like that. There's always a little bit of something. They make it worth your while. They really do.
Yeah, I mean, it's from the small things like ordering a pizza there, to playing cards with your friends, meeting new people, having bagels early in the morning because somebody had them but you didn't and they couldn't eat them, and so you just got shared breakfast with complete strangers that you were mad at 2 hours prior to that for
Believe
actually
it or
skipping
not, it's
line
a lot
for
like you
That-
make like those days that you spend camping out with all those people. It kind of turns into like a small community by the end.
Yeah, it's worth trying. It's worth the fun, and if you camp out early enough, you have a guarantee that
And
you
like
get
Nana
in.
said, our biggest tip for this like
Which-
entire convention, but Hall H especially, is Twitter. Hashtag Hall H line is the most useful thing for these sort of things. Also, big shout out to the Hall H line Twitter and the Blinky Blinks Twitter. They're the ones who keep everyone up to date, so that way you can follow what's going on. And even if you can't see the front of the line, you'll still have your fingers on the pulse of what's happening.
Exactly. You do need Twitter. You do need Twitter when you're there.
If you use it only once a year,
But yeah,
then use it once a year.
yeah, exactly. As to what happens in Hall H once you get in, you can stay the whole day, which is great. You can also leave for one panel and come back. You will get a bathroom pass, which allows you to leave for one panel and come back before
Yeah, it's
it
pretty much
ends.
like a little hall pass.
It's important to remember because, I mean, spending a whole day in Hall H means you don't get any food besides what you bring. There's just one bathrooms. You do need a break. And you know what? It's a crowded place. You might just need some fresh air. You can do that. You can go out for one panel
But that
and
is very
come back.
important.
But in that
there are
case,
bathrooms.
have someone to hold your spot. Yeah, there are bathrooms. There is actually even a shop like with nachos and stuff, but that's not good enough. I mean, I don't know how about you, but I hate con food. So, yeah. I've been to Heroes and Villains Fan Fest this weekend, and I had to actually resort to a con food because I left my bag with my brother, and I am regretting that decision until now. It's been 3 days, so no con food for me anytime soon. But anyway, so that's our Hall H advice, and we hope that it's been useful for you.
We'll definitely take you through.
And-
We'll make a video for any future attendees next year showing the process as it happens for us this year. Because we're planning to get in. We're going to
Yes.
do it. We're going hard.
Oh yeah, we're totally doing it. We already have canopy and everything set. It's going to Vegas right now. Long story. Don't ask. Anyway, if you have any questions regarding to Hall H and all the logistics around it, feel free to ask us in the comments. And if you want to know more about San Diego and want to see our future
Don't
upcoming
forget to
videos,
subscribe.
hit the subscribe.
Ring the bell so that
Yes.
way you know when we post a new video.
Yes, we have Facebook, we have Twitter, we have WordPress blog where we post multiple times a week. So feel free to follow us anywhere. Instagram as well. We will keep you updated, and I guess that's it from
We
us
will
for
see
today.
you next time.